we have talked a lot about how young people are struggling with mental health. And in today's By the Way, we want to take a look at how college students are a unique case. A recent study of more than 84,000 college students across the country found that 32% report moderate to severe anxiety symptoms. And when it comes to depression specifically, it goes up to 37%. While those numbers are an improvement over the last few years, many students need help. So what can parents do if they're concerned? And what signs should you look out for? Psychologist Lisa Damour specializes in child and adolescent development, and her books on the topic just happen to be New York Times bestsellers. There's a few of them out there. She joins us now. So, Dr. Damour, what does this study tell us, and what is the anxiety, besides the obvious, new chapter in life that college students are dealing with?
Well, so the study is good news in many ways, in that it shows that depression and anxiety are dropping since we've been looking at them over time. From 2022 to now, they've gone actually down significantly, which is a good sign, right? The further we get from the pandemic, the better kids are looking in many ways. But the numbers are still high, right?
Are we back to pre-pandemic levels, or?
I don't know that we're already corrected to that. I doubt we are, but the numbers are still higher than we would ever want them to be.
Yeah.
So what should we worry about, right? You said the transition to college is anxiety-provoking. We should expect some anxiety. Normalizing anxiety helps. If a kid is becoming so anxious that they're avoiding things, that's a time to be concerned.
So let's talk about depression and how someone can tell whether they're just sad or going through something, or whether they're actually clinically depressed or it's something serious.
So in sadness, you're usually sad about something. Whereas in depression, you're kind of sad or blank or kind of numb about everything. Of course, with depression, we worry about safety, especially if a young person becomes hopeless or feels helpless. So if any family member has a reason to worry about a kid's safety, you should just ask. You should say, I hear you're telling me you feel really low. Do you have any thoughts of harming yourself or ending your life? Asking that does not make kids more likely to hurt themselves, but if they are thinking about it, they're glad you asked.
Can I ask about that, though? Because there is something about, and I'm thinking about to my adolescence, that the Holden Caulfield experience, where when you're a teenager or...
Catcher in the Rye reference?
Yeah, everything sucks. Yeah. Everything's boring. You're a phony. This is phony. This is lame. That's not what we're talking about here.
That's not what we're talking about. And one of my favorite ways as a clinician to really decide how concerned I should be is sometimes I'll say, the things that you like to do those still make you happy?
Oh.
And often a kid will be like, yeah, no, everything's lame, everything sucks, but I still like going to the movies.
Right, okay.
Right? That, for me, is often very reassuring. But if I have a young person say to me, no, even the stuff I used to like doesn't feel good, that is a very useful question to start to get a read on where you are.
And that's a question parents can ask
They
their
absolutely
kids.
can ask. They absolutely can ask.
So what about, a lot of college students have roommates, and, that's always a struggle to kind of balance that relationship. But what if a student has a concern about their roommate's mental health? What should they do?
So that happens, right? You get to college and you have a roommate who's having a significant mental health concern. I think first thing we want to say to the kid who has the roommate is to say, this is not your responsibility. You are not responsible for the mental health care of your roommate. Colleges have...
That's so huge.
It's huge.
Because everyone feels like if you see someone, it's on you.
They just take it on. And they're so loving, but they can kind of get overwhelmed themselves, which we don't want. Colleges have layer upon layer upon layer of support. They have RAs, they have freshman deans, they have counseling centers. So the job of the kid who's worried about their roommate is to work with those layers to figure out what kind of support the roommate needs and to help make that happen. And parents can support that from afar, but it is not the responsibility of the roommate to take care of a roommate who's struggling.
So are these embedded counselors on college campuses, are they working? And it feels like, and is it new? Because I don't recall, not that I probably ever really needed any help when I was in college, but I don't recall I recall there being health services.
Yeah.
But that was like if you gashed your hand in the middle of the night or something at the fraternity party.
Yeah.
Not this.
This is new, and it's really cool, right? There are studies showing that students are using these counselors. They're in the dormitories. And, the thing about it is, students can walk by. They can lay eyes on them. I think even though college counseling centers are amazing, getting yourself to the college counseling center can feel intimidating. It's some building over there. You don't know what you're walking into. So I think it's such a brilliant way to meet kids where they are. And, the smaller we can catch a problem, the easier it is to fix it. And so having proximity and ease of access makes a big difference.
I learned so much when
No,
he says.
I have to say, we're going to do something for social media with your tips on having little kids, which we were eating up before we started.
Before they started.
We'll post that later.
Yes, Lisa Damour, always great to have you.